Hey everyone! In this video, I wanted to go over the setup rules for the Keepers in Iron because I believe them to have one of the more convoluted rule sets for how you actually set up the faction. So let's get a little bit of a bearing. We're on the mountain map and we've already set up all of the clearing suits. So far, the Lord of the Hundreds set up their homeland here. Then the Marquise de Cat went. They are allowed to set up a homeland in an adjacent clearing because there's no restriction for the cats. Their keep, however, has to be placed away from another homeland, so that's down here. And then the Corvids chose this homeland over on the far right. Of course, there would be many more pieces. There would be Marquise de Cat warriors all over this map at this point, but for the purposes of this demonstration, I wanted to keep the map kind of neat and tidy, and for that reason, there's just fewer pieces than there would normally be. But the important point is that homelands are here, 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 and here. Now, unfortunately, there's a little bit of an issue on the mountain map, and that's that we actually cannot satisfy the rules for Keepers in Iron. The second step here says, choose 2 adjacent homeland clearings on the map edge that have 2 or more clearings between them and enemy homelands. Well, if you look at this map, I can't choose this as a homeland because the only 2 edge clearings adjacent are already homelands, so that doesn't work. No, 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 no. I cannot choose this homeland because at the outset of the game, the covered paths, the closed paths, make these 2 clearings not adjacent, so you would not be allowed to set up like this. These are both not homelands. The same rule goes for here. You cannot set up here and here because of this closed path. And these are the last 2 edge clearings, but the Corvids disrupts that because they have their homeland over here. So what do you do in this situation? This ruling is not even in the current law, but it is on the Leader Games website in their official FAQ guide that's going to be printed in the next edition, and you can find this ruling in the online law of root that Seiyria has published. Shout out to Seiyria. And what it says is that there's actually a mulligan rule where you would, in this situation, where you cannot actually set up as the Keepers in Iron, you would take their advanced setup card, put it back into the box, and reshuffle more advanced setup cards until you get another militant faction, one with a red border up here that says, that has a sword that says advanced setup. So that is the mulligan rule, and it's possible to have that happen as well for the Marquise de Cat. Any faction, present or future, that has multiple homelands that have to be adjacent to each other, particularly on the mountain map where you've got these closed paths. So that's the mulligan rule that I wanted to explain, but let's also go over how exactly you're supposed to place the relics. But in this case, we're just going to remove the Corvids, and now that means we can legally set up, only it's going to have to be on this side of the map. There's a little bit of an issue as well with the printing. Step 3 says, put any remaining relics as evenly as possible among any forests that are not adjacent to your homelands. They actually misprinted this, and they're supposed to be the word randomly. Put any remaining relics randomly as evenly as possible. And the same misprint happened on the back of the faction board. So just know that on the second round of relic placement, you are supposed to place them randomly. So just know that. Let's go ahead and set up. The first thing we do is we have to put a relic into each forest. So identifying forests is going to be very important both for setting up and playing the Keepers in Iron. So this step has to be random. How do we do that? A tip I got from Nick Al is to use the hireling box if you have it, or any rule box, and just get all of your relics, shuffle them around a little bit, and either put them under the table or off to the side, and randomly put one in every forest in a way that you can't look at the relic symbol and decide which one you want to place it. And make sure the numbers are all face down, okay? So what you're gonna do is put one out and decide, I'm gonna put one in this forest to start. So I grab one, and then I have it in a way where my thumb is covering the symbol so I can't actually see. Put it there. Okay, that's what it is. It's a figure in this forest. And I like to just go in clockwise order. That way I make sure I get one in every forest. Important to note that in Root, the definition of forest is any space on the map that is completely enclosed by paths, open or closed. So in this situation, even though there are no trees in this little space here, it is a space that's enclosed by a path here, and a closed path right here, okay? Open or closed, paths are always dividing forests. So this space is going to get one as well. There we go, it's a tablet. Now note that there are trees up here, but this is a space that is not enclosed by a path. There's a path here, and then just goes off the map. So this is not a forest. So we're gonna keep going. Here we go, this is another forest, right? Rivers do not divide forests. So this is another forest and it's gonna get a relic. We're gonna keep going right here, right? This is a forest, here's another one. And of course, making sure that I'm not looking at previous relics, I'm not considering any of that when I am shuffling around for the next relic. And we're gonna do this until all of the forests have one relic. In this situation, there are going to be 2 left that are still in the box that we haven't placed yet. We're just gonna put those aside for now. And then you're gonna choose your homelands. At this stage, you actually do get to consider the positions of the relics and where you want to choose your homelands to be. However, because of the homeland placement of our opponents, I have to choose something along this side. So let's just check. If I were to choose this as a homeland, is this legal? Well, there is a non-homeland here and a non-homeland here. That means that there are 2 empty or non-homeland clearings between this clearing and enemy homelands, therefore this is legal. And the same goes for this spot here, right? 1, 2, 3, there's another one, as well as this edge clearing here. 1, 2, 3. So any of these 3 would do, and I'm just going to go ahead and choose these 2. So both of these clearings are going to get 4 Keepers in Irons warriors. After you've chosen your homeland clearings, then you're going to take your remaining relics and place them randomly back onto the map, but you do get to choose the position of the relics. You just don't get to decide which one goes where. So at this point, you are going to have to call out and declare, I am placing a relic in this forest, for example. The only restriction is that the forests you choose for the second round of relic placement cannot be adjacent to your homeland. So you may not choose this clearing, may not choose this clearing, or this clearing. Sorry, forests. You cannot choose these 3 forests because they're all adjacent to your homelands. So you would say, I'm gonna choose here. You go in and randomly grab one, and there it goes. Hey, it's another figure, not bad. And you get to choose another one. Note that nowhere on the setup card does it say that it has to be as far away from your homelands as possible. You can choose as close as you want. Here's another great one that's close to my homelands, but importantly is not adjacent, and it is going to get the last one. Boom. And there you go. That completes the setup, at least the map setup of the Keepers in Iron. And of course you would take your faithful retainers, put them underneath the faction board, and then set up your way stations on top of your player board and carry on with this setup and then start the game. I hope this little video has helped to explain how to do the setup correctly for Keepers in Iron and when you would use that mulligan rule. So catch you guys next time.